It used to be an absolute guarantee in Hollywood. Put two massive heroes on a poster, and the box office explodes. But look at the recent numbers. Critical reception has plummeted, and what was once fresh is now consistently landing in the rotten zone. Theaters are seeing it firsthand. The massive opening weekends are vanishing, quickly replaced by empty seats and silence. Headlines aren't celebrating the spectacles anymore, they are analyzing the failures and asking where it all went wrong. Compare the electric energy of 2012 to the apathy of audiences today. Something has fundamentally shifted in the culture. We are seeing icons stand back to back, but instead of genuine chemistry, we're just getting awkward proximity and bad lighting. The history of cinema is littered with these attempts. For every record-breaking success, there are a dozen forgotten failures. Comic books can get away with rapid tone shifts between panels, but on the big screen, it is much harder to pull off. It is like trying to force two puzzle pieces from different boxes to fit. The edges just don't line up, no matter how hard you push. It feels like executives are just smashing action figures together like children, hoping for magic, but creating only noise. So, what is the core challenge here? Why is this genre suddenly hitting a brick wall after years of dominance? It starts with tone. You can't oscillate between gritty realism and campy fun without giving the audience severe whiplash. Scripts are tearing themselves apart trying to serve too many masters, balancing tragic deaths with cheap jokes in the same scene.
It absolutely does if we
Writers'
foreshadow
rooms
it here.
are
Look at the
becoming
diagram.
battlegrounds, trying to connect timelines and universes that were never meant to touch. It is a culinary disaster. You can love steak and ice cream separately, but you definitely don't want them on the same plate. Imagine a noir detective dropped into a Saturday morning cartoon. It breaks the immersion instantly and ruins both vibes. The serious characters end up looking ridiculous, stripped of the gravity and danger that made them cool in the first place. When these worlds collide without care, the plot holes aren't just cracks in the script, they are absolute canyons. We are seeing horror franchises trying to merge with family comedies. The result is a disaster that pleases no one. And the audience? We are not engaged. We are checking our watches, scrolling our phones, and waiting for it to end. You cannot build a cinematic universe on a cracked foundation. Eventually, gravity takes over and the house comes down. Budget isn't the fix. You can burn $300 million on CGI, but money cannot buy a coherent story or soul. If we look at the timeline, we can pinpoint exactly when the mashup era started hurting the actual quality of the films.
Quantum entanglement
When you have magic users and science heroes yelling at each other, one side always ends up looking incompetent or silly. Social media is brutal. Fans are confused, asking why their favorite characters are acting completely out of character. Behind the scenes, it is chaos. Reshoots, rewrites, and exhausted directors trying to salvage a mess they didn't create. The visual effects suffer, too. Rushed production schedules mean the villains often look like unfinished video game cutscenes. It really is the blender method. Throw in a cape, cowl, hit puree, and serve the resulting sludge to the masses. The weight of audience expectation is crushing these films. They promise the event of the century and deliver mediocrity. And ultimately, plot coherence hits zero. Things happen just because they look cool in a trailer, not because they make sense. Let's unravel a specific example. The most common killer of the mashup is what I call the tone clash. Case Study 1 focuses on what happens when oil meets water in a screenplay and refuses to mix. When you take a character built for extreme violence and drop them into a PG-13 funhouse, it feels wrong and neutered. The jokes fall flat because the atmosphere doesn't support them. The silence in the theater becomes deafening. Visually, it is a mess.
Jarring.
The color grading doesn't know if it wants to be desaturated noir or neon pop art.
Identity
Critics
crisis.
notice this immediately. Words like jarring, inconsistent, and messy become the defining descriptors of the film. Then there is Case Study 2, the forced team-up. bringing heroes together for marketing purposes, not story reasons. They fight alongside each other, but there is no rhythm. They are bumping into the script, not the villain. Every emotional beat is interrupted by a setup for the next 3 sequels, robbing the moment of its impact. It is the definition of forcing a square peg into a round hole. You break the character just to fit the plot. It feels like decisions are made by charts and market research graphs, not by creatives who actually understand the lore. Why pull a cosmic god down to Earth to punch a bank robber? It lowers the stakes completely and wastes the character. The heroes look bored. If they are overpowered for the threat, there is no tension, and without tension, there is no movie. Case Study 3, Too Many Cooks. The sheer overstuffing of the cast list until no one has room to breathe. The posters are so crowded you can barely read the title. It is a sign of insecurity from the studio. In the movie, nobody gets to speak. It is just noise, shouting, and characters fighting for 30 seconds of screen time. Beloved characters are reduced to background extras. It is an insult to the fans who waited years to see them. When you break down the screen time, the main antagonist often gets less character development than a celebrity cameo. And that is when the popcorn goes in the trash. Fans know when they are being pandered to rather than entertained. Remember the Solo movies? They were focused and clear. They had time to breathe and let us actually care about the hero. Now contrast that with the sequel. Louder, bigger, more expensive, but significantly emptier inside. It is like graffiti over a masterpiece. You lose the nuance and the artistry that made the original special. We are watching massive explosions reflected in eyes that have no soul behind them, and we feel nothing. The box office reflects this. Huge openings based on hype,
Wait, who
then
is that
massive
guy supposed
drop-offs
to be?
when word gets out it's bad.
I have no idea. I thought he was the
Focus
brother.
groups are leaving
The
confused.
blonde woman is the sister.
If you need to read a wiki to understand the movie, you have failed as a filmmaker. Even the merchandise struggles. Kids don't want toys of characters they don't understand or didn't like. Brooding monologues cut short by quips aren't subversive. They are just bad writing trying to hide a lack of emotion. It is distinct dissonance. You are hearing 2 different movies playing at the same time, fighting for control. The destruction loses weight. When everything is destroyed in every movie, nothing matters anymore. The cracks in the armor aren't from battle damage, they are from poor structural design in the script phase. The rivalry feels unearned. They glare at each other because the script says so, not because of history or conflict. Just like oil and water, the separation is instant the moment the action stops. There is no residue of friendship. And don't get me started on the multiverse. It is often just a lazy excuse for messy writing and nostalgia bait. Writers are forced to trade genuine character arcs for cheap applause and cameos that lead nowhere. The cinematic universe map looks less like a plan and more like a tangled mess of yarn that no one can untie. Executives celebrate the deal, while the creatives mourn the story they actually wanted to tell before the interference.
I agree completely.
We
look
get
forward to
slow-motion
getting started.
shots that look cool in a trailer but halt the movie's pacing dead in its tracks. Online, the debate rages. Does continuity even matter if the characters change personality in every single film? They killed the golden goose trying to get all the eggs at once, and now they are wondering why the nest is empty. We have to zoom in and ask the big question, why are we doing this? Is it for art, or just for quarterly earnings? The soul of the story is being crushed by the weight of the corporate logo. Art cannot breathe in a vacuum. When you delete a character in post-production, the whole web of the story unravels, leaving gaping holes. It leads to an identity crisis. Characters are rebooted so often they lose their reflection and their meaning. Actors are signing contracts for franchises, not for stories. It has become a business transaction, not a creative one. We are being served fast food when we were promised a gourmet meal, and we are starting to realize the difference. The graveyard of cancelled projects proves that this throw everything at the wall strategy simply fails. The core reason is simple: lack of foundation. You cannot rush legacy. You have to earn it, brick by brick. If you build without that base, the collapse isn't a possibility, it is an inevitability waiting to happen. These franchises are trying to sprint before they have even learned to crawl, and they are tripping over their own feet. They stay at the tip of the iceberg, offering spectacle but refusing to dive deep into what makes heroes human. The emotional moments feel fake. Digital tears don't move an audience. We need real human connection. Eventually, the studios will be empty. The trend is unsustainable, and the bubble is already bursting. The scale has tipped too far. Spectacle has completely outweighed the story, and the balance is gone. It is a silent scream of frustration from everyone who loves the genre and wants it to be better. It is a Frankenstein monster. Parts of heroes sewn together, creating something lifeless and lumbering. The projector is overheating. The machine cannot keep running at this speed without burning out the bulb. And the audience is voting with their feet. They are walking out, and they aren't coming back for the sequel. So, what is the lesson here? What do studios need to learn to save the genre before it's too late? Look at the ones that worked. They took their time. They earned the team up. They respected the audience. Compare that to the rushed chaos of recent years. The difference is night and day, and the box office proves it. Character first. Consistent tone. Earned moments. It is a simple list, but it is hard to execute. Close the book on the gimmicks. Go back to the single, defining hero's journey that resonates with us all. There is hope. A sunrise is possible if we return to quality over quantity and heart over hype. We need storytellers running the show, not algorithms and spreadsheets. We need vision, not data. When the handshake is earned, we feel it. It resonates. It becomes a moment we talk about for years. We need bridges between films, not collisions.
The light cuts
Smooth
through
traffic,
the darkness.
not car
A
crashes.
beam carrying stories
tapestry,
from one
not a
generation
knot.
to the next.
The only ticket worth buying is the one that promises a good story, regardless of how many capes are in it. But I want to know what you think. Are mashups dead, or do they just need a fix? Let me know in the comments. Hit that subscribe button if you want more deep dives into cinema history and the future of film. And thanks for watching. We'll see you in the next one, hopefully watching a better movie.
What do you think? You shock at